Welcome, Earth travelers, to another episode of Astrology Roadshow. In this 19th episode, we will take a look at two of the more challenging areas all of us will be personally navigating. This is especially true as personal planet Venus will be transiting retrograde within the sign of Leo, and Saturn, our personal timekeeper planet, has moved from the sign of Aquarius and is now underway within constellation Pisces. Saturn is very dependable, and its transit through any sign can be expected to last 2.5 years. We are now experiencing the beginning of Saturn's journey, and these early degrees are an opportunity to receive clues as to our work for the remaining transit within Pisces. In comparison to Saturn's journey, Venus retrograde, including a shadow period, stationings, and then back and forth again, lasts a total of about 3.5 months. But don't let this shorter duration fool anyone into believing it wouldn't be as important. Both of these planets are key to our evolutionary process, and now they deserve special attention. Let's see what they are up to, starting with Venus. This planet's retrograde can be a very intense time, depending on aspects happening in real time, as well as the aspects to planets and points on a natal chart. We all experience each one differently. However, this always serves up an opportunity for change and sometimes packs a very powerful punch. Venus retrogrades may be experienced as definite and pivotal. If it is one of those times, one can arguably compare it to how the planet Uranus behaves, sometimes rather quickly making purposeful and irreversible events occur. The event or events occurring may be memorable in your life. There is nothing to fear, of course, but awareness will go far to navigate each Venus retrograde graciously, especially if the terrain warrants it. One thing we can depend on is this phenomena occurring every 18 months, with the actual retrograding back and forth lasting about 40 days. The planet's brief stops or stations and initial shadow path coverage forward make up the added difference in length of total looped cycle. This occurs as this planet becomes invisible and moves from evening star Hesperus, only visible an hour or two after sunset, to morning star Lucifer, which can be viewed in the hour or two before sunrise. Another fact is Venus retrogrades occur only within certain constellation signs, shown here. Venus will retrograde once every 8 years within each of these signs. The degree path each time it returns keeps to a pattern of moving along, and this produces the famous flower pattern. This always assures a very different experience for each retrograde, derived from differing planetary, natal aspects, and of course also because of changing real-time aspecting. The area in the sky and on your chart that will be center stage this summer is in the sign of Leo, from 12 degrees through 28. The shadow path begins its start on June 19th, and this will be an auspicious day for some of us, foreshadowing what will be happening. Look for a significant turning of events around the new moon on June 18th and 19th. You may not have to look too hard. The first step would be to locate this area on your natal chart to see if there will be planets or points directly affected by conjunction. Do the same for its opposition house and the sign area of Aquarius, since the theme of Aquarius is a direct reflection of what is happening in Leo. Leo's house area may be encompassed fully by the degrees of Venus's transit, or it may overlap into 2 houses. If so, the themes of both houses are important to blend together. The initial part of the journey is laying the groundwork and paving the way to the subsequent house ruled by Leo. This second house, which Leo cusps, represents the point of the journey. Other aspects to planets that Venus will make, such as squares, trines, and sextiles, will then further add to the story. And what is the story about? Well, it's Venus's story, of course. What brings you beauty and joy? Venus represents those very things. Basically, it's what you love most of all. So the second step is to locate where Venus resides in your chart. Themes and keywords regarding that house and sign are there to shout out what you most value in this lifetime. Its retrograding journey within the house of Leo is all about your reevaluation relative to the themes expressed within the house area Leo occupies and the way this currently does or does not add to your natal Venus's ultimate destiny. So themes and keywords relative to the house of Leo will want to evolve at this time and create an intentional upgrade towards your best destiny on behalf of Venus's house and sign placement in your natal chart. And finally, the last step to complete the puzzle is to locate the house in your chart where planet Venus rules. So it strongly corresponds to Taurus, but Libra does share co-rulership. So both of those houses are important. That is the root of your Venusian expression, and it has been working behind the scenes as such since you were born. This seed area will help you to round out your entire motivation. You will possibly feel unsettled, and specific events will occur that speak to change symbolically or concretely. The more contact Venus makes with other natal planets and points, especially influential contact with your natal nodes, or a personal planet such as Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, or natal Venus, the more obvious and urgent the manifestation of its intention becomes. You are already aware at some level what sort of changes are in your best interest. Being aware at this time for opportunities will allow you to work and create synergy with the cosmos. You can more actively take part in your own creation and magic making. Your astrological awareness is always rewarded back to you in the most magical ways. Saturn's ingress into Pisces from Aquarius was done without a retrograding look back into that sign. It's been full steam ahead to express all things Pisces from a Saturn perspective since early March of this year. Saturn will have reached 7 degrees during June. After that, it slowly retrogrades and remains well within the very initial decan of Pisces for the remainder of 2023. By the end of this year, we will have achieved the entire peak necessary to understand what lies ahead for each of us. In fact, Saturn's 2023 retrograde goes all the way back to 0 degrees of Pisces, but not a bit further. And again, there is no glance back to Aquarius. Instead, the focus and intent, having revisited and stationed at 0, is to have us understand the critical intention. 0 degrees is a critical degree. Its very definition speaks to curiosity about the entire sign. 0 degrees of any sign wants nothing more than to very much learn all about the terrain ahead. Stationing there is an equivalent to 3 visits at that degree. So what is that going to mean? Well, as before, we go to step 1 and look for the house on our natal charts where Pisces is positioned. As you may know, a sign occupies 2 houses unless there is an interception or it cusps at exactly 0 degrees. The early degrees we are experiencing now will be the pathway to the house that Pisces rules, or the second house that it occupies. Make note of any planet or points on your natal chart which conjunct with Saturn from 0 to 7 degrees Pisces. That will add dimension to Saturn's effort in 2023. The intention will be made clear since Saturn deals in black and white and not with shades of gray. That said, Pisces does indeed exist to express all the shades of gray. The two work well together, however, and Saturn's visit here is ultimately to provide structure and upgrade its purpose relative to the house which Pisces rules. In doing so, Saturn will provide much needed discipline in this area. The experience should not be too awful, and in any case, if we apply ourselves to the lesson, much good and success is the likely outcome. On to step 2. We look for where Saturn is domiciled in your natal chart. Keyword themes for both sign and house placement here further describe how Saturn doctrine is applied during its travels, and its home base describes the application of its efforts. So the tenets of Saturn, both sign and house, will be the focus of the discipline and restructuring being applied in its journey through Pisces. Step 3 further rounds out the root cause for all of this. Where is Capricorn's house cusp located on your natal chart? The motivation or reason for this entire exercise lies there. Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's the area finally benefiting from Saturn's travels after your birth. These 3 steps provide you with all the basic clues needed to understand the process of each sign transited. Knowing your birth time and rising sign determines natal placements and allows you to complete all the steps. Again, Astrology Roadshow is happy to help. Please don't hesitate to reach out. As always, thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed and feel prepared for your journey this summer. Likes and shares are so much appreciated. Please subscribe to this channel so you will not miss out on the techniques we use here to travel through space and time with the utmost of awareness. Wishing you much peace, light, and a high level of consciousness, and looking forward to catching up again next episode.